Hi. Wow. Can I take a picture for Tom because he's in Michigan? Can you all? I'm gonna do a video. Can you all wave to Tom?
Here's the Tom.
Yay! Thank you. So Tom's in Michigan visiting family. My name's Tess. I do know a lot of you. I manage the store for Tom. This was something that we had talked about kind of as a joke, but obviously it was not a joke. And the reason I wanted to do this more than anything was because these books were my favorite books when I was a kid. Like, I cannot tell you, I have gotten in arguments with adults as an adult saying that Chessie the Sea Monster is not like a creature, it's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, you know, and I didn't know.
Because you read the book?
Because I read this book and I didn't realize that not everybody else knew that. If you haven't read Santa and the Skipjack, you could fight over it. This is the only one I could find. They're out of print and they're wonderful. And of course, Rosie's Posies. We all got the seed packets and we all planted in the gardens when we were kids.
Do you know how old those seed packets are?
They probably don't work anymore.
From 1988, and I think we had cucumbers, and they still
germinate good cucumbers.
Yeah.
So I just, as a child who grew up here, I'm from Chestertown. I love these books and Marcy's illustrations. So this is sort of a fangirl moment for me. And I just wanted to celebrate everything that she has done with children's books and her illustrations. So, Marcy, we're so excited.
Well, I'm just excited too because I haven't done this in a long time. I used to do it mostly in the school, so I'm not used to all these mature faces.
But
Yeah, mature.
but we're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So that's right. Forgot about that.
So we're gonna talk a bit about your work.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about how I came to this career and how a book is made, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of books, 2 books that I wrote and did the sketches for that I could never get anybody to publish. So I just want your opinion. So,
And it is also Rosie's birthday today.
yes, today is Rosie's birthday. Happy birthday, Rosie. We're going to be celebrating with cake and what else do we have? Cake.
Love.
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 And balloons and dinosaur stuff. And so to get started, I'll just tell you how this all happened. I was living down here. It was in the late 70s. Rosie, she was born in 82. I had an older daughter who was about 5. I'm going to talk about how I came to this career and how a book is made, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of books, 2 books that I wrote and did the sketches for that I could never get anybody to publish. So I just want your opinion. So my sister went to the Rhode Island School of Design. She got a degree in illustration, and she got out and got an agent in New York City and was doing children's books and making a bucket of money. And I was not making a bucket of money. I think I was working for Bob Ramsey even then. But I had, by the time the 80s rolled around, I had 2 kids, one of whom was in college. So I needed to step up to the plate financially, as it were. So I said, Jackie, that's my sister, what am I going to do? And she said, well, you can draw. What's your problem? Send some drawings to my agent. She'll figure out what to do with you. Because you really need an agent if you want to get into the industry. So I did a bunch of drawings of kids. I can do that in my sleep. And I sent them off, and they sent me a job. And it was a job to do a little tiny painting in watercolor of a kid blowing up a balloon. And I went, but you don't even see the face. You just see the balloon. So I said, I can do that. So I did it. It took me about 15 minutes. I sent it off. They paid me $350. So I was just floored. And that was how it all started. So the first book I did, I think the first book I did was with Rob and Amy Warner. And it was a book about working dogs. And it was about a hearing dog. This is a dog. Is it about the hearing dog?
I might have
No. Oh, the illustrations were terrible. No, that's dogs that serve. That's older. Anyway, I don't have any of those copies because
Not this one.
no, that one came a lot later. This one's pretty good actually. But I did a lot. I did a lot of,
Oh,
and they were
wow.
pretty realistic. I'll pass this around and you can all find your favorite dog. And then I wrote a book for my older daughter, Jessie. We lived in Maine when she was really little, and she helped me in the garden because there wasn't anything else to do. And that gave me the idea to do Rosie's Posies. So here is how Rosie's Posies started. Oh, here I am in this bookstore. I don't have any art supplies. I don't have any materials, but we started thinking about what kind of book could you write for kids? Oh, I see what you want. Yeah.
There you go.
And we started just jotting down, what kind of flowers should we have? What kind of animals should we have? And they were so cute and so funny. I dedicated the book to them, and that's how Rosie's Posies was born. And one of the things they said, you know, I was really into Mrs. Teacher mode, and I wanted to have all this information about planting a garden, and the kids were going, but you have to have bad guys. And I went, this isn't a book about bad guys. No, but you have to have bad guys. So I started thinking, how can I put bad guys in this book? And so I came up with this idea. First of all, here's the catalog of all the children's flowers. And what happens to Rosie is she has it's not really Rosie, it was Jessie, but that didn't rhyme with posies. So, so the kids in this story, see, she's very lonely. She doesn't have any friends. She doesn't know anybody. And she has a very active imagination. And she starts to see faces in all these flowers. Let me see if I can get to a good one. She took care of them like they were her babies. And, oh, and this was the bad guys. So one time Rosie and I were working out in the garden, and we had gotten wiregrass into the garden. Oh. And wiregrass is, I don't know if any of you have ever fought with wiregrass.
Yes.
It's like wire.
Awful.
And so we started pulling out, and as you pull it, it's like a big long string of wire. And we decided we were going to pretend we're superheroes and that we're rooting out evil.
Oh.
So that was Rosie rooting out evil. So that's how I got started, and I just had a great time doing this book. Let's see. Oh, this is one I actually wrote. I haven't written very many. They actually got published. This one's called Eggs All Over. I'll read it to you because it only takes about a minute. These are scholastic books. They sell them at book fairs in schools. So there are white eggs, speckled eggs, brown eggs, blue, snake eggs, turtle eggs, gator eggs too. There are eggs underwater, eggs up in trees, eggs in the jungle, and eggs that must not freeze.
Oh.
There are eggs in the desert. Eggs from geese in France. I love this one. The French geese. Big eggs, tiny eggs, and eggs that come from ants. There are eggs brought by bunnies and eggs bought in stores. The biggest eggs that ever were came from dinosaurs. Very good, all you dinosaurs. Some eggs are under chickens or on a bed of lace. Eggs sitting on a wall or running in a race. No matter where you find them, eggs are really neat. But the best eggs of all, come on, you know the last line, are the ones that I can eat. Let's see, where am I? I want to read one of the book about Rosie, okay? And this is a book that never got published, and it's really funny, and it's also about Grandma Sita. This is my mother-in-law, John's mommy, who is 102 next week. Yeah, she's a legend. And it's called it's called The Princess and the Peas.
The Princess and the Peas.
And the Peas. So, this is how it starts, with me just writing a poem. And it goes through many iterations. If you've ever written poetry, it's messy. But then you clean it up, and the first thing, and then you start doing the drawings. And the drawings are, they call these are the drawings. You can put the whole book on one page, and these are called thumbnails. And that's where you just put your ideas and see how the one page has to flow into another. So this is where you plan that. How can I do this? Yeah. The subtext of this story is that the queen in this story is the former Princess and the Pea from the fairy tale, and she has many mattresses on her bed and pictures on the wall, hints of her past, a bookcase full of fairy tales, as well as a signed portrait of Hans Christian Andersen. So I'll do the pictures. It's really silly. There were 140 peas in this book. Okay. So these are, as you can see, the originals are done on tissue paper. So after I do that thumbnail thing, I do it up in fairly close to the final size. But I do it in tissue paper because it's cheap, and you can lay things on top of it, and you can cut it out and paste things down. And you don't have to do it over every time you fix something. So this is Princess.
Oh, do it.
Okay.
Yes. Why not?
Her parents called her Princess because she was very particular. Princess was not a morning person. Princess did not like party dresses. Princess preferred pants. Princess was a very picky eater, as you can imagine. She only liked pizza, pancakes, peanut butter, mashed potatoes, popsicles, and pumpkin pie. No green food, and she absolutely had to have with a little pig on it. Princess's poor parents were worn out. You might say they were pooped. They decided to go on a trip, and they left Princess with her grandma, the queen. The queen was a very particular person too, and some people would say she was even a bit peculiar. But when Princess got there, Queen was pleased as punch to have a pal. First, they played ping pong. After dinner, they made popcorn and watched Pinocchio on TV. And they played pinochle until midnight. By then, the queen got hungry again. So they had milkshakes and peanut butter cookies. By this time, Princess was pretty tired. But the queen kept thinking of more projects. Finally, Princess sneaked off to bed when the queen went back to the kitchen to make a piece of toast. They got up the next afternoon, and the queen put Princess to work. They picked up all their mess from the night before and put everything in its proper place. Then they got dressed to go to town. The queen was famous for having the perfect pants for every occasion. She had shopping pants, tennis pants, gardening pants, and party pants. She had granny apple green pants, rocket red pants, and sparkling spandex pants. Princess helped her pick. They went shopping for pants for Princess. It took quite a while because she was very particular. But they finally found the perfect pair. They were plaid. Then they went out to dinner at Pierre's Guaranteed to Please Cafe. At Pierre's, the waiters were ready for the queen. She had her own special spot near the potted plants. Nothing on the menu suited the queen, and so here's what she ordered instead. Pickled pepper salad, dressing on the side, penny pasta with pepperoni, no tomatoes, pureed parsnips, no pepper, chocolate pudding with extra whipped cream, a great big glass of prune juice with no ice, and Princess ordered a plain pizza, pumpkin pie, and a glass of pineapple juice. After dinner, they went to the opera. The queen insisted on having seats right up front so Princess wouldn't miss a thing. The performers pranced around the stage, pouring out their hearts passionately. Princess was impressed at how loud they were. I think I put nice and loud. Yeah. At night, the queen told her stories about until wee hours of the morning about her adventures when she was young. Princess was exhausted. She needed a vacation from the queen. Her parents finally came to pick her up, and she was very, very happy to see them. I like the picture of the parents with the Hawaiian shirts, John. Now I could say that after that, Princess was never picky again. But a princess is a princess, and some things never change. But whenever they needed a break, Princess's parents packed her off to visit the queen, who was always tickled pink to see her granddaughter. After all, they were like two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
The end. So I could go on and on, but I don't. I'm sure you have questions. Who would like to ask a question?
Are you going to vote to see if you should publish it?
I've sent it out to many publishers. They all go, thank you, but that's not what we're doing lately. And what they're doing lately is, what, Camila, honey?
Picard.
What?
Picard.
Picard? What?
He's being a dinosaur.
Picard.
He's making a dinosaur noise.
I am a bird.
I can't understand you.
He said, I am a bird.
Oh. He's very creative, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where does he get that from? Yeah.
Yes, Isaac.
How do you come up with your ideas for your
Well, I
books?
told you about the one when I went to the book signing and nobody came, and the two little girls that were there, they helped me come up with my idea. And you know, there's a book I did, I think we have it. Santa Claus and the Christmas Crab. I'll tell you this, you'll like this, guys. I was working on those tissue drawings for Santa Claus and the Christmas Crab. This one still sells too, amazingly enough. And there is a scene where Priscilla Cummings wrote this, and it's about, of course, Santa's sleigh gets stuck and the little crab has to come to his help him. So there's a scene where they have a big party and they have food, and the food is tasty and hot. And this was to fourth graders. I don't know if any of you have taught school. There's a humongous difference between third graders and fourth graders.
Yeah.
Fourth graders are little smarty pants, and third graders are adorable. I don't know what happens over the summer, but they're never the same. Anyway, I said, so one of the kids said, hey, how do you have hot food underwater? And I went, that's a good question. I don't know. What do you think, guys? And I put it out to them. And I said, how should we solve this? And one little smarty pants stood up and said, I know, electric eels. So that's what we did. So that's the story. And this story is so dumb. I've known Priscilla Cummings for probably 40 years, and she's just a wonderful friend. But when she writes these books, and it just cracks me up. I have one more story, You want me to read one more story that didn't get published?
Yes.
It's actually really good. It almost got published. I even got some criticism on it. Yes.
I have a question, Marcy. Would you rather write or paint?
Oh, I'd rather paint. I mean, this was fun, but it's not my heart's, where my heart is. My heart is down in the studio painting grass. Whatever I paint. That's my life now. But this was very necessary, and it was a lot of fun. And I met some great people.
And brought an inordinate amount of joy to the young children growing
Especially
up here.
Tess. Especially Tess. Where can you go when it's cold outside and you need a nice warm place to hide? Creatures all over the world agree a nest is the best place to be. Down a tunnel underground, rabbit kits are safe and sound. There they snuggle, happier, in a nest of mother's fur. In the backyard, high in trees, squirrels make cozy nests of leaves. Even when the cold wind wails, they wrap up tightly in their very good. You might even be fifth graders. Maybe somewhere in your house hides the family of a mouse. Mother mouse makes her nest better thanks to someone's favorite sweater. The nests of birds are truly fine, each a masterful design. From tiny wren to towering stork, each a perfect piece of work. On one leg, flamingos stand next to nests of mud and sand. Social birds, they love to talk together in a big pink flock. The alligator nests in reeds, covering her eggs with weeds. When babies hatch, she sees they're fed and gives them rides on her big head. Army ants can march all day, but at night it's time to stay closer to the queen, their mother, so they cling to one another, and they actually make a nest out of their own bodies. I got so smart doing these books. I learned so much stuff. Great apes in the forest deep make their beds before they sleep. Do they end their jungle days with tales of humans' funny ways? I like that baby one on top. Where's the baby? Yeah, she's got a baby on her shoulder. Way up north in the snow and ice, nesting outside isn't nice. Polar bears carve caves of snow where their cubs can safely grow. Wasps are nesting engineers, building nests that last for years. Bees make nests with heat and plumbing. Inside, you can hear them humming. Sometimes people make nests too, just like other creatures do. Little kids under the stairs. Bachelors lounging in their lairs. Look, he's got a picture on the wall. It says his mom, and a sign that says "Bless this mess." And this is a photocopy of a study for the Bunny Rabbit one. You can pass that.
Yeah, here.
Teens avoiding all their chores, families camping out of doors. We all need a place to go, a place to make the world go slow. So when it's cold and dark or scary, don't just sit there solitary. Curl up with your family. A nest is the best place to be. And this was the piece of final art that I did to send with the sketches and the poem to show what the final product would look like. And they went, thanks, but no thanks.
Aww.
This is called the F&G. Sounds like something nasty, but it is. It's called The Folded and Gathered. So you get a book. The whole book is on 3 sheets of paper, like this. And it's, you look at them, and some of them are upside down and some of them are backwards and all over the place. But the way they fold it and then gather it and cut it, it comes out the way the book's supposed to come out. So this is three of the, I brought all three signatures. This is the whole book, 3 signatures. And one of these pages is called a signature. I don't know why they call it a signature. There's nobody's signature on it. This was a big, took a long time for the editors to wrap their heads around that one. Oh, but this is too scary for children. No, it's not. I know kids.
We should make a space and do like a show and tell space. People can come up and look at it.
It's a question.
Who has a question? Yes, honey. You've contaminated. Look, this is the one that has the, oh no, it's not. This is the one that has the, oh, you know, the title page and everything. So that's basically my little song and dance. I'm sure anybody else have more questions? Yes, Isaac, darling.
How do you find your helpers?
My helpers. When I was doing schools, I would get a lot of help from the kids. Like the kid that figured out about the electric eel. Yes, dear.
I'm a bird.
This is 4th grade. No, this is 5th grade. I used to tell jokes when I was teaching. I would tell jokes to the kids, and there's always a line, a fine line. And the joke I would tell the kids, and this is how I could tell they're ready for the 3rd grade or 4th grade, and it's called, and how's it go? It goes, who's bigger, Mrs. Bigger or Mrs. Bigger's baby? And the kids go, Mrs. Bigger. And you go, no, Mrs. Bigger's baby, because he's a little bigger. And they go, and if they go like that, they're not ready for 4th grade. Yeah, who has a question back there?
My question is not much of a follow-up on that joke.
I got a million more of those.
You should keep going then. So do you do just line drawings and then watercolors? Is that the
Yeah.
medium?
I do, line drawing with a very soft pencil or a brush and ink, and then watercolor. And sometimes I use crayons for a little resist and texture. And sometimes I use ink instead of watercolor, but I hate it because you can't lift it. Once it's down forever. But
Okay, and then the other question is, if a poet wants to have some drawings done of fantastic poems to get published by a world-class illustrator, would you consider it?
She did that recently.
yeah, I did this book. This is a book that I didn't illustrate the book as such, but Meredith wrote poems, and she chose, you know, the gouaches that I do for Carla that pay up for a lot of groceries. But she chose the gouaches to combine with her poems, and it's really fun, and it's a great gift book. I highly recommend it. Carla has them, Tess has them, Bob Ramsey has them, April has them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
In testing out these books that have a humorous element,
Uh-huh.
do you find that there's a difference between adult humor and what appeals to adults and what appeals to kids?
What do you think? Of course. Kids like really stupid jokes, and anything that has poop in it is really a big hit. And what else do they like? The older they get, the more they're into wordplay, but they do not like wordplay, little kids. And they do not like to be teased. So anything that's kind of teasy or makes fun of little kids, they don't like that. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what you should not do. Aww. Anyhow, I've had a really great time.
Thank you, Marcy.
I hope you did too, and please come and buy. These are all old, out of stock. I don't know if you can get any more of anything.
I had a hard time finding the ones I could find, but the ones that Schiffer has that we have stacks of, multiple except for I Was Born to Be a Sister, which you gave us,
I
but
have.
everything else we can continue to order. That we have multiple copies
But
of,
some
but it's all for sale.
Time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Are those Shana books still in publication?
The Chana, I'm sure they're not being published anymore. But they were fun. That was about a Spanish family.
This one, these.
Yeah.
We have some, but because you brought them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and this was I would have kids come up to me, and because I do the black and white insides, I didn't do those covers. Did you do fly hawk top wing blah 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 about? Then I learned all about little boy sports in these series. But it's really fun when kids really connect with this kind of. These are series that, like, once you read one, you got to read all of them, and there's like 10 in this series. And when you get a contract to do a series, that's like awesome, because then you've got 10 books to illustrate and get paid for. So thank you all very much. Behave very well.
And we're actually here also to celebrate your
And Rosie,
one of your other
so we can
creations.
sing happy birthday to Rosie, and then can we do cake?
Yes. Oh yes, please.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday